Hello again, my loves, and happy equinox to you. My goodness, sisters and brothers, what a day. So it is the equinox. It's the equinox gateway. The equinox arrived today at 2:19 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I don't know if you felt it, but the energy today definitely shifted. I woke up this morning and it kind of felt almost like waking up the day after ceremony. If you've ever been in a ceremonial space that took you all through the night and then waking up the next morning, and it's just kind of like this really calm, quiet stillness. And I was certainly feeling that this morning. Today, here where I am in Quebec right now, it was definitely quiet, really quiet. And the sun is gone. Right now, it's overcast. And so, after some really intentional kind of body work that I was doing, which I'd love to get into later, but part of my embodiment practices for the last several months, going on since the spring, I have a really wonderful routine that is paying full attention to the body. And it's really been about releasing, supporting the release, and supporting the embodiment of my own soul. And lots to that. But the bottom line is, all I felt called to do first thing this morning was to be able to be with my body, feel the energies that were coming through on this wonderful day of the equinox, and, you know, revisit the things that I was journaling about, that I was contemplating and really sitting with yesterday, which was the new moon eclipse. And I was really looking at all the things. What is it that I really want to let go of? What do I not want to take into this equinox season, this next chapter of my own life? And have you guys been feeling that as well? Can you relate to that when I speak those words? Because this has been a tremendous period of reinvention, of rebirthing, and recreating ourselves from the ground up. And I say that and I almost laugh because I'm living in a space where we are literally building it from the ground up. Now, you wouldn't tell from the space around me right now, but just know that if I turn the camera around, you'll see lots of like unfinished walls, and we're doing it bit by bit. But it started with a vision of what we wanted to create. And we were actually coming into a space, a smaller space than what we had last year, because this is ultimately going to be down the line. It will end up being more of a cottage chalet for us. But right now, because it's our primary space, we are having to let go of a lot of things. Say, what's necessary? What are the things that we need right now? And that was the housekeeping that I was doing on the mental emotional program belief system base yesterday. And so I revisited that this morning and then took my first steps outside. I said, I have to go to the river. So I wanted to do some grid work, which normally has been happening in the background. I haven't been speaking about this publicly, I guess for the most part, because up until this year, that it's just been something that was so easy to do because of where we were living on a bed of very literally of crystal, of quartz crystal underneath the house, and everything was just my office space was right there. We had a vortex that was encompassing the house, and my office space was almost at the center of it. And here it's different. There's, whether we're here or we're, back in Ontario, there's different areas that I'm being drawn to, but now it's much more outward. So this morning I was doing this work at the river. And so I went in, and it felt very much like a day of ceremony. And so tying this back to the equinox, it's a really special gateway. And what I'd love to do in this video, I'm going to talk about a few things. I'm going to give you the most important highlights of this particular equinox gateway and how it relates to your own evolutionary journey. I also want to give you the two main evolutionary themes that your soul is orchestrating and beckoning you through right now. And then also 5 ways that you can navigate and leverage this gateway window to have the most ease and grace as you go through, and also make the most of it for your own evolution. And yes, water might be part of it. My hair is kind of a mess because it was so beautiful. I went to the river, was working with the water, and there was the most gentle, misty rain. So that's why I kind of look like a bit of a wet cat at the very least. All right, so let's get into it. Some highlights. First, if you're not familiar with what the equinox is, what is the equinox? So it is a point at our annual calendar when there is perfect balance between the day and the night. And so it's known for being like the equal point, the balance point. In other terminology, we could say it's like the 0 point in terms of timelines and light and dark on the planet and our experience as we live here. And on the soul's evolutionary journey, the equinox, because there's two, there's one in the spring and there's one in the fall, which is the one we're doing now. But the equinox is, as far as our soul's journey is concerned, it's this, well, actually also the solstices. So all of them, right? The 4 of these, which are probably the ones, the events that I celebrate the most and spend the most attention on, as opposed to all of the lunar events. It's, for me, my makeup is much more about the solar stuff. So equinoxes, solstices, but they're cosmic pivot points, and they're turning points on the evolutionary journey that turn our collective wheel forward. They're big movements, right? We're kind of making incremental throughout the year. Then you have an equinox and it kind of blasts you forward, and then a solstice and it blasts you forward, right? So after this event, being the fall equinox, the next big turning point, pivot point, is going to be the December or the winter solstice. So we're right in the middle now, right at the peak, right at the apex of this equinox. And in 2025, this is like unlike any that we've had. And the other alignments that are coming into play for this equinox to be as big as it is are making a huge impact on why we're feeling the way we do. So today, the sun is entering Libra at 0 degrees. Now, Libra, as far as astrology goes, it's the sign of balance. Is there any wonder that balance, equinox, balance of the days, it all lines up. It's all the same thing. And 0 degrees, what does 0 degrees remind you of? Where else we talk about zero? 0 point. That's when we come back into center, back into the connection point to who we really are. Our true essence is found through 0 point. And it's no mistake that the sun now has moved into Libra, the sign of balance, on the equinox, the pivotal point of balance between the light and the dark. There's this beautiful echo and mirroring that's happening here. And so it's being really shown to us that this time is about coming into that balance within, that Hieros Gamos, that Vesia Pisces geometry, right, of the 2 circles that come together, right? That's what we are literally living and becoming right now at this time. Now, think in terms of, because it's moving into Libra and all the energies at play, think things like relational or relationship balance, justice, the scales of justice, right? And harmonizing of opposites. It's no longer just the polar opposites. It's like what's in between them. And that's where we want to reside. And that's what the rest of this year and going into next year is going to be about, bringing everything into balance. So there'll be a lot of, let's say, discordance, but there is also going to be this underlying theme of coming into balance, first and foremost within yourself. So all the intense purification that was rising up because of all of this really high frequency plasma infused light that we have been living in all week long. All of that now is starting an integration phase that we're starting to feel today. That's why you might have felt like this shift in the energies, like it's lighter today. It's more spaciousness today, whereas yesterday was very much like it's almost like compressing, like, okay, it's do or die. This is it. This is it. And I was talking about final exams. Now it's like, okay, the exams are done. And you may have a few last projects that you're submitting. Okay, going back to school. Last projects. Okay, I'm getting my last paper in. But the exam's done, but I'm still, because we're still in that a little bit. So with the balance, though, that we're creating as we move day by day, step by step through this passage, what it's doing is allowing the unity consciousness, that true God Christed consciousness, which is all about balance. It's the all encompassing God consciousness, Christed consciousness. It's about coming back to the one, right? It's allowing that in. It's allowing that to anchor into the earth grid and then naturally and more fully begin to express through our physical forms. And that's what this whole integration period is going to be about. Illuminating where that's not happening. That's when it feels uncomfortable. That's when there'll be more purging. That's when it'd be like, oh, what's going on? And on the world stage, probably seeing stuff. Wow, my hair. I really have river hair. But this is really important, and a really big passion for me is like how we are embodying this in the physical form, returning our physical experience, the human experience, back to the original divine human blueprint. Big topic, but we're doing some groundwork for that right now. So yesterday was the Virgo new moon eclipse. Big day. Okay. We're still feeling the echoes of that. The second Virgo new moon in a row. So this is super rare. You don't often see a new moon, a full moon, and then another new moon in 1 month. Like that doesn't normally happen. However, being that it's a 9 year, in the 9th month of the 9 year, and the whole theme of the year is like purge, 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 get rid of all these aspects of you that are not you. It's got to go. It's like downsizing for the biggest trip of your life, and you're staying in a beautiful tiny home. Okay. You cannot bring it with you, but what you do bring is going to be so resonant. It's kind of like, oh gosh, what's her name? I forgot it. Leave it in the comments. The tidy queen. What's her name? Either way, I've forgotten her name. You know who I'm talking about. It's the you only take what you love. Take what you love with you. Your favorite things, the things that feel, in this case, authentically you, right? The shadow side. Not my language, but you get what I'm saying. The parts of you that are strictly and so clearly egoic expressions. It's not who you really are. It's just programmed based responses, conditioning. We're letting it all go. I was, you could say, in ceremony and in process from first thing this morning. For me, that was about 7 because my beloved came home very late last night. We were up until almost 2. So it was like 7, I started opening my eyes and it just began. I started going into really one thing after the other, process, body work, etc. I didn't finish until I was in the tub. First, I went to the river. Well, first I was doing process stuff in bed. Then I went to the river, releasing, receiving encodements. I was actually not to go yesterday on the new moon, but to wait until today. And then it was so clear. Just as soon as the morning came, I'm like, now is the time. I had brought in more encodements. My frequency and signature was now activated in a different way. I'm very much a different person than I was even 3 days ago. And it was time to now go into the water and also receive encodements that are now anchored in that water memory from what's coming through today. And so now I'm coming to you after that, and after going into, we're on a well here. So it was amazing to run a bath of salt infused water from our own well. And then I was in that water probably for over an hour. And I was just going through one program and another program. I came up with 40 programs yesterday that I had identified through hours of, playing with them and digging deep. And then the entire time in the water here in the tub was all about releasing. All about releasing. I was levitating when I was coming out practically. It felt so good. But it was beautiful and no surprise to me. I looked at the clock when I had my last exhale in the tub. Everything was being released into the water and then was going down back into the watershed, back into Gaia. And it was 1:23 p.m., 1:23 p.m., of course. So all that release was taking place just prior to the actual arrival of the equinox at 2:19 p.m. And prior to that, I'll share this. I had the first thing that I actually consumed and ate were fruits and gifts. Fruits, zucchini, yellow zucchini, sun, so much symbolism. And this morning at 7:05, my neighbor shows up. God bless him, Ronnie. And he showed up with this huge bag of cucumbers. And so I had fresh cucumbers. Ronnie, they are probably the best cucumbers I've ever eaten. Crispy. Oh my God, delicious. So cucumbers, zucchini from my neighbor, a little bit of strawberry, and some vanilla protein. Oh my goodness. So nourishing. And now I'm here with you. So it's been quite a day. And I wanted to tell you that to just impart on you what has gone into this particular transmission. It's meant so much for me to bring this information forward, but also to bring the purest aspects of myself and all of the activation and love forward into what we're doing today. So our souls, bringing it back to what you need to know, our souls are asking us, leave it all behind. Anything that you identify that you don't need, that doesn't fit anymore, literally or figuratively, say goodbye. Say goodbye. We're being so supported to do this right now. And what we're doing, if you saw my video from yesterday, is we are now planting the visions of who we are becoming and taking those first steps in fertile, clean soil. It felt for me after coming out of the tub and after I did my release work, I did like a real big scrub down. As I was exfoliating and scrubbing, I was taken right back to the morning after ceremony when I had my Kundalini awakening, which was just like a mind-blowing experience. And really what ensued after that was like complete life restructuring, reordering, identity change, like everything. Two or three additional souls began merging with me at that time. It was quite a thing. And this morning felt so much like that. Complete rebirth. So I'm so delighted to be sharing this passage with you. And so if there is anything that is left, it's not like you had until 2:19 p.m. to say goodbye. Continue saying goodbye. And what I'd love to do after we talk a few more minutes here, I want us to go through a little ritual of saying goodbye to those things that don't serve and opening up to the new. So we're still in the finals exams. Like I said, the exams are kind of done, but we're still handing in some papers. That's still here. This graduation kind of energy is very, very present. Let me know if you can feel that, if it feels different to you. It's still overcast here. It's still misty, rainy, and I'm so appreciating the rain. The sun over the past few days has been magnificent and so activating, but now it just feels really nice to be kind of in this hush zone of like integrating and awakening to something new. So, being that we're in eclipse season, we're actually going to be integrating all of what we have been through over the last several days, the last several weeks, and I'd say even since July. Like there's just been so much eclipse activity, but this one in particular, these doubles, the ones that we're experiencing this month, we're going to be integrating for at least 6 months, maybe more. So don't worry. You're not behind the 8 ball. Everything is on time. And please remember, you're not going through this alone. You're not the only ones that are having this experience. So if you feel like you need rest, if you feel like, oh, I really just want to journal about this, I want to write this down, or I want to, light a candle and meditate, do it. These are the most important things we can really be focusing on now. Let the mind be quiet. Everything will be coming together and restructuring itself so that you can have the space you need to address what you need to address at the perfect time. Okay. So 2 of the biggest soul evolution themes that are playing out right now. One is dissolving service martyrdom. So service meaning you have to suffer. That's kind of the distortion of our past experiences. The starving artist or the wounded healer, all these so-called archetypes, all that dies. We don't need that anymore. Service of any kind, whatever you're doing, whether it is towards your family, towards your community, to yourself and friends, it can just be joyous. This idea that was brought forth, a lot of it through certain religious contexts, is that if you're in service, you have to be suffering. That's a distortion of the truth that is now becoming more prevalent and becoming more actualized and crystallized in our experience. And this is a really big anchor point to bringing that in, that our service work of all kinds can feel pleasurable, can feel joyous. It doesn't have to feel heavy, and it doesn't have to feel like you're punishing yourself or sacrificing in order to do it. That's big. The other theme is releasing codependent relationship patterns. Now, this can show up in many places. That is a shadow aspect or a lower aspect of Libra, being in balance. And so being in Libra season, it's great because now this gets to kind of rise to the surface more. Everything now is about equality. And so that would be the higher aspect of Libra. So as opposed to being codependent, like, oh, I need to have this in place or this person in place or be connected to this in order for this to work. No, now it's about equality. They can both exist and we can come together, and I'm still whole when we're separate, and I'm still supported regardless. So mutual recognition, embodying that, not just saying it, or even believing it, but being it. And that's a difference. Equality. It's different than neutrality too, when you think about it. But either way, sovereign partnership. So you come together, not because you said you would, and you have to stay true to your word. You come together and continue to come together every day because you're choosing to. Why? Because you always have a choice. It's an illusion to think that you don't, that you're being forced. Well, I said these vows, or I agreed to this contract, or I this. All of that is bull. They're just constructs of this inverted matrix reality that we're stepping out of to illuminate that everything is a choice. Even soul contracts, so to speak, are being rewritten. Why? Because they can. And this is the season to do it. And if there is a change of heart, a change of direction, a change of excitement and enthusiasm at the soul level, this is when they do it. Like, okay, you know what? I said we were going to do this. That was part of the plan, but now I feel like I want to do this. And all is good. All is good. And I know this is maybe rubs some people the wrong way. That's okay. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I'm just going to speak what I'm here to share. And if it resonates with you, amazing. Let me know. Okay. Now, how do you leverage and navigate this energy? 5 simple things and ways that you can do that. Anchor balance in daily. So it's really got to become a routine. It's not like there's going to be a season of balance like in the past, and then there's a season of completely out of balance. This is part of the evolution and the devolution of the inversion and evolution of our new human experience. And it's about coming into more and more balance. So start making steps daily through whatever rituals that you do, however you lead your life and your practices, weave these in, whether you like to do breath work, whether you like to just be present with your body and just sit in stillness, whether you like to go in nature, whether maybe you're a workaholic. I tend to be on that side of the scale. I tend to work too much, but I really love what I'm doing. So it's like hard to tear myself away. But that story even has to go. Why? Because we have physical vessels, excuse me. And our bodies, even though they can thrive when we're doing things we love, because it's like we're living on light, we're bringing in that prana when we do, they still need things. Like, for example, I love to walk my dog in the morning. We go for at least an hour walk. He needs at least an hour or more in the morning of a vigorous walk. And I love it too. My body now, especially, is moving into the season of like, oh yeah, let's work harder. I want to feel the vitality move through me. But I often forget that stretching would be helpful, especially because he jolts me sometimes and I find my muscles get like extra tight. We can't forget about the body. It's storing memory. It's also storing energy and traumas a lot of the time. And that's a big piece of what my work has been. My embodiment practices particularly for the last several months since the spring of this year. And I cannot tell you what a difference it makes. Ladies, if I'm speaking to you, I went from having tremendous cellulite to I have like a fraction. I look in the mirror and I'm like, I can hardly believe this is my body because I experienced trauma at 16 when I traveled to visit relatives in Hungary. And then when I came home at 16 years old, I went from smooth legs to ripples everywhere. And I couldn't do anything about it my whole life. But the embodiment practices, spending time with the body, releasing, letting go on many levels, the body gets to go back into its original divine state. It's amazing. So, listening to the body and doing things for the body. Okay, that was a long explanation for number 1. My apologies. I got overly excited because the whole body temple and the body template is something that I think we're going to be talking about a lot in the days that come. Number 2, step into conscious co-creation. So I will sum this up this way. Gone are the days of competition. Now it's all about co-creation. Can you feel that? There's this relaxedness that we are being blessed with. If you're willing to see it and feel it and hear it, it's an invitation to be willing to look at opportunities to collaborate with others. That's again, that balance. It's like, yes, okay, yes, togetherness, right? Not everybody's going to be a fit for you, but when it's a fit, it's okay to say yes, especially if you've had like an aversion to that. My path, I have. And now I feel very, very different. And it's beautiful. It feels so much more whole. Whole. The word was wholesome. Yeah, some whole. Yeah, wholeness. Feels amazing. Amazing. Number 3, releasing old structure, old order. So anything that feels heavy, anything that feels even remotely distorted, gotta go. Anything inauthentic, you cannot pass through the eye of this particular needle. It can't. So get ready to let it go. And building foundations with integrity. So that comes back to the authentic expression of you, right? There's the energy of 22 is very present right now. 22 is a master builder number. And so 22 is about building strong foundations. That's what we're in the process of doing right now. So ask yourself, what do I want to build? And how can I build it so that it lasts? Now, you can think about that with respect to your physical body, probably starting with nutrition. I wouldn't doubt, because what we eat is what we become. Those are the building blocks for the body. With your business, what are you creating? Or if you're starting to think about creating your own business or side business, what are you creating? You want to have solid foundational. I have to have a bite of this cucumber. You see this? I'm very thirsty. Oh my God. Oh, Ronnie. That's so good. Anyways, when it comes to, let's say, starting a business or doing this next phase of your business, what new offerings, for example, what new systems are you going to put in place? Are whatever they are, make sure that they're coming from a true, genuine point of inspiration, not done out of fear, program, not done out of lack, program, right? Ignore the ego, ignore the impulses that would normally be driving those decisions, and make sure it's coming from something like, this feels really aligned with me. Like, I feel like this would bring me joy to do this. I think if I put this kind of slant as opposed to this slant, which I normally put, but instead kind of flip it a little bit and spin it more so it feels more like me, that's the way to look at things now moving forward. That will be supported. The old ways of like using logic to make the decisions, you're going to find it's not going to work the same way. Anything that is moving forward that's going to get supported, I'm talking about like soul support, divine support, is going to be you wanting to express your natural, true essence through whatever vehicle it is, art, business, whatever. And things that are not just serving you, but are serving everybody, because you're doing what is bringing you authentic soul expression. It plays hand in hand. They go together. And stay receptive, number 5. Just be open. Just be open. The eclipse plus the equinox together and the new moon, second new moon, not to mention all the alignments that are happening in the background that we don't even need to talk about, the activations that have been taking place, the downloads you've probably been receiving. They may feel subtle. Some of them may feel really big, like they have been for me, just because of the placement of the things in my own blueprinting and what's happening cosmically. It's just creating these big moments. And for some of us, they are going to be big moments of like, oh my God, my whole world is changing. Or they're going to be subtle, really subtle. Whatever they are, pay attention. It's not random. Listen to them, write them down, like take time with them, and just be open to what then begins to flow after that. All right. In closing, this equinox isn't just about balance, okay? It's a very big collective reset point. Like I said, you're not doing this on your own. We are all doing this together. I left a message for beautiful clients of mine today. They've been traveling and they got back. I think they got back on Saturday, actually. And I just said this morning, like, take your time. We don't have to jump right back into everything like, go, go, go. We'll set this call and do this. Because the mind may try and pull you into a place of feeling like, okay, I'm behind the 8 ball. the beginning of the week. I don't know what happened the last week. It was a blur. This weekend, what the heck? I mean, and now it's Monday, and typically Monday we need to hit the ball running. Take a breath. The world will be here when you get back, but take the time you need. And if you feel like you need to move your body, great, do it. But we're closing cycles of distortion. Okay, so this is a really, really big reset point that you can't ignore, and it is happening to the entire planet. Just know that. We're closing cycles of distortion. We're stepping into a new order, a new structure that's all based on sovereign co-creation. So think freedom and collaboration. It's beautiful. It's not something that has been the default up till now. Very different. And so it takes a bit of getting used to. And this is happening down to the cellular level. So that's why we feel it in the body. A lot of dreams, needing more sleep, etc. And the evolutionary challenge that we're being invited into is embody balance as your default or your active frequency. What could that look like? And if you've got a nervous system that's been on overdrive for a while, and you're saying, how the heck can I make balance my default? You can. You can. There's something I do called the breath break that I teach all my clients pretty much. As long as their bodies say they want it, I'm all about sharing it. But it's literally in various different ways, but just taking time to breathe is the bottom line. Taking time to breathe. And that will bring you and your nervous system right back into center. And from there, you can do anything. It's the basic place to begin. So if you're wondering, how could I do that? That could be something very simple that you start doing. Set a timer on your phone. Okay, every day at this time, I'm going to stop. I'm just going to breathe. I'm going to look out my window. I'm going to say, I'm just going to breathe and look and connect to nature and ground yourself through your own physical body. What we're doing right now is building foundations, releasing anything that's not going to be able to stand in that higher equilibrium space. And we're moving from the heavy, dense purification cycle. We are now pivoting and moving into co-creation. So creation, but not just creation, co-creation. It's going to be much more of this kind of unity vibe. And then we're going from collapsing into what's happening around us or within us into finding balance, even if things are turbulent, kind of being in the eye of the storm where it's calm. Where's the eye of the storm? It's in 0 point, right? Yes, finding our 0 point, regardless of what's going on around you. And then from there, you find your footing and you find your balance. So embodying balance as your new set point. Make sense? Okay. Where are we time-wise here? Let me see. I can't actually even tell because I set this thing, my Zoom started and I wasn't recording. So I have no idea. What I'd like to do now, though, let me see. Do we do this as part of this video? No. Okay. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to end this video here. If you liked this, if this was supportive, please give it a thumbs up. If you like this kind of stuff that I'm sharing, please subscribe to my channel. It helps me to get the algorithm on my side and get this work out to more people. And please feel free to share. And I would love to hear how you related to any of the things we talked about. Please leave me a comment. I love reading them and I love responding to them. So we'll close this here and I will come back with a separate meditation that is going to be about anchoring in all of the things that you want for this next phase. And we'll probably do a little release work in there too. If it's anything like what I did this morning, I suspect it will be because I was kind of nudged then. Say, see what you're doing here? I want you to bring this experience to everyone else. So I will be doing some of that. All right. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for being here. If you made it all the way through, love you and appreciate you, and really especially appreciate the journey that you're going through and what you're moving out of and into in this next phase. We are all in this together, and it's an honor to be walking this path with you, my love. Okay, stay tuned, and I'll see you soon.